I'm sorry, I've been speaking for like 5 minutes and my mic has been muted. I'm an idiot. So, as you may have seen, we are doing Eternal Darkness. We're starting this now. This is going to be proper. I've had them. There we go. Maybe we should just reset this and start again. I've had the volume down for the entire thing. So, Eternal Darkness, a horror game of some note.
Flesh.
For some reason, the cutscenes are pretty much all in 4:3, despite the game offering a widescreen option.
Wretched book is where it all began, so
And it has subtitles, which is really nice. I always appreciate a game with subtitles.
I am Dr. Edward Roivas. I am a clinical psychologist. I am also dead.
Ooh.
This is not my story, nor even the story of the Roivas family. It is the story of humanity.
You've never played this, Bane?
Like it or not, believe it or not, as you will. Your perceptions will not change reality, but simply color it. Humanity has been on the edge of extinction for 2 millennia.
Never. Oh, you've been missing out. This is actually a very solid game. It has problems. I'll never disagree with that. It has a reputation as one of the best horror games ever, and it has some of the best horror ideas.
My family has crossed their path.
But it's got problems, like I say.
Kindly to it. Their attention turns to my granddaughter, for she is the last.
You may have noticed that it was developed by Silicon Knights, and Silicon Knights' entire reputation from this point on was based on this game. From basically the moment this game was released until they were sued into bankruptcy. And to be fair, the lawsuit had merit. I think it was actually out of ammo there. You only get a certain number of shots there. So yeah, we're going to play through Eternal Darkness. I think we'll play through all of it, actually. Do a game that isn't an RPG for the stream.
Hello?
Miss Alexandra Roivas?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Inspector LaGrasse of the Rhode Island Police. I'm sorry to disturb you, but there's been an accident with your grandfather.
There's been an accident.
The next flight out.
Alex Roivas, voiced by Jennifer Hale, because wasn't everybody back then?
Miss Roivas, I'm pleased to meet you. I trust you had a pleasant trip?
That said, this game has a surprising number of Metal Gear Solid voice actors.
This is most unpleasant. It's a shame we couldn't meet under brighter circumstances.
Yes, it is.
Are you flirting?
Can we get this over with, please?
Of course. This way.
Your grandfather's dead. What are you doing for dinner?
It's not a pleasant sight. I'm afraid there's not much to see.
Okay. You know, that doesn't look like an accident.
Is that your grandfather, Edward?
Yes, it's him. He's wearing our family ring.
Just casually take a sip of your coffee.
I don't understand. Why are you showing me this? Can't you check dental records or something? What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. It's my job, lady. You're the only living relative, and no, we can't check dental records. There's no head.
So check fingerprint.
There's no sign of intrusion, and there was certainly a lot of force used.
Uh,
I have never seen anything like this in my 20 years on the force. We have no evidence except for the body, and what's left doesn't say much. We don't have a single clue.
So the head's missing, but you said this was an accident.
I'm not leaving Rhode Island until you do. There must be some clue in this old mansion revealing what happened. I want answers.
So do I. I wish I had some.
2 weeks later. Shocked by her grandfather's mysterious death and frustrated at the incompetence of the local police, Alex vows to uncover the truth. She decides to search the mansion, the place where Edwards conducted his research. If there was a tie to his past and possibly a tie to his murderer, it would be here. So this is Eternal Darkness. Sanity's Requiem. It's got melee combat. The call of the mansion beckons to Alex, drawing her back to uncover the family's secrets it hides. Alex will not leave till she has learned what happened to her grandfather. So essentially we're playing in this mansion like in its entirety. And you may think, like right off the bat, Resident Evil. It's really not. A beautiful carriage clock. The hands appear to be stuck, yet the clock continues to tick, with the time permanently set to 3:33. There is a key in the back of the clock, presumably for winding it. Should Alex look at the key? Yes. Alex picks up the desk clock and pulls the key from it. However, there is something odd about the key. It isn't for winding it at all. It looks like a dresser key. We found a dresser key. Now, full disclosure, I've not played this game in a long time. So what's to do? I should have a save file, actually. Yeah, there. That's as far as I've played it recently. That was done last year, I think. And that's up to the 3rd chapter. Like I say, it's been a long time. So should be some fun in rediscovering this game. As I said, this game developed by Silicon Knights. Silicon Knights has a really solid reputation, entirely built on this game. Even today, a lot of people still think of Silicon Knights really positively because of this game. And they developed 5 games of note in my reckoning. Blood Omen: Legacy of Kain on the PlayStation was later ported to the PC. Eternal Darkness on Gamecube. They developed Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes for Gamecube, which was the remake of the original Metal Gear Solid. Then they went on to develop 2 Human, which was god-awful. And then they developed X-Men Destiny, which... The looming grandfather clock seems to stand ominously in the corner, gazing on this empty room with an almost patriarchal air. Should I adjust the clock hands? Yes. .333, which is a very important time actually in this game. I remember that. We opened a secret door. So yeah, X-Men Destiny, and there was a lot of stuff that came out about the development of that in recent years. Some of the stuff we'd known, but a lot of it was expanded on. Like the head of the company, Dennis Dyack, really just kind of pushed the development back. An ancient Roman weapon, an ancient Roman weapon, a gladius, is on display above the fireplace mantle. Another token of like eclectic junk. Eclectic. Let's take it. Let's equip it. So that's pretty neat. Bizarre drawing of a cyclopean city. Its immense architecture bathed in a natural fog. The detail is incredible. As Alex studies it, she can also almost imagine the city's inhabitants. But yeah, like, the biggest point to take away from the development of X-Men Destiny, a large leather-bound book. Yeah, the biggest point to take away from the development of X-Men Destiny is that Silicon Knights constantly pushed back the release date, constantly asked for more money during development, and eventually sued Epic over the Unreal Engine 3. Demanding that they hadn't given them proper tools to use it or proper guidance. Epic countersued, alleging that Silicon Knights had stolen some of the code for the Unreal Engine for their own personal use. And Epic won. It was proven, and Silicon Knights shut down. There was a whole Kotaku article on the development of X-Men Destiny from, I think, wrapping up 2 Humans to the end of Silicon Knights. It's worth reading.
Quam primum, Centurio Augustus. I would like to compliment you once more on your battle tactics. Our enemies did not...
So I think the idea here is the tome, as we're reading these, the tome is translating it all for us, because the tome is magical.
Beliefs or his orders. But if we are to retrieve the artifact, then we must be strong and patient.
So this is the caveat of the game. You play as various characters throughout history as they come into contact with certain forces. And it all begins in 26 BC, I think it was, with Centurion Pius Augustus. And here we are playing as Pius now. The dais on the floor is finely crafted, inlaid with gold and gems that Pius cannot identify. A strong linear design is situated in the middle, and it is equally unknown to the Roman soldier. There's a lot of detail in this game that I do really like, because I love flavor text. A ladder leads into the dank heart of the labyrinth. Danger lurks beneath, yet Pius's courageous resolve does not buckle. Should Pius climb down the ladder? So the game doesn't have a standard fixed camera angle. It's more like Code Veronica's camera, where you don't really have control, but the camera moves in a cinematic manner. And while there is a ranged combat with guns, the game does have a strong focus on melee combat. So cutting off the heads don't kill them, but it does leave them blind. There's various different strategies to use with different enemies. But generally, whenever you get the chance, you should always finish enemies. Because that'll tie into the Sanity mechanic, which will be introduced soon. Pick up this green block. As far as the controls go, it controls pretty well. The camera rarely shifts in a way that will disorient you. Which is good because this isn't actually tank controls. There we go. And there's the purple one in the centre. So let's go and place them all. Because this is a very obvious puzzle. The wall is prominently decorated with a strange lined symbol carved into the granite. Cut into the wall is a square hole lined with scratches as though something has been removed from it. So this is blue. This is red. This is green. And finally is purple. So yeah, I'm surprised you've never actually picked this up, Bane. I know it generally is a desirable game on Gamecube, but it's not that expensive. I would have thought you would have gone out your way to grab it. Here we go. This is going to actually teach us the combat after we've already taken out a bunch of enemies. Pious, you must prove your worth by destroying the statue. And then how we actually attack. And now we can proceed. That'll be symbolic later. So since there's no purpose to actually killing these guys yet, I'm just going to cut their heads off so they can't catch me. A button is attached to a small pylon softly. A button attached to a small pylon softly illuminates the room. Bizarre energy seems to radiate from it. Should Pius push the button? So if I remember rightly, this game didn't actually sell amazingly. I've heard theories that the reason for that would be Resident Evil on Gamecube. Came out, I think, the same year and really took a lot of the attention as far as horror games go. So we have 3 artifacts here. A strange sculpture resembling a red-clawed worm mysteriously floats above the pedestal. Should Pius claim this artifact? Shaped like a delicate dome, a pale blue statuette floats gracefully above the pedestal. Should Pius claim this artifact? An effigy resembling a warped angel shaped from dark green emerald hovers effortlessly above the pedestal. Should Pius claim this artifact? And this will determine who your main enemy is for the entire game. And I think we will go with Xel'lotath. Oh no, I don't mean like picked it up at the time. I mean picked it up in recent years since you started collecting. And so it doesn't matter which artifact you pick up, all of them corrupt Pius like this. Well, no, Remake didn't sell all that well, admittedly, and we know that because Capcom, that's one of the big reasons why Capcom eventually did Resident Evil 4 the way it was. Because they thought survival horror just isn't working anymore. But Resident Evil was also a proven IP, and a lot of people chose that over this. So the remake sold better than this.
But now my mind is sharp. With the power of Xel'lotath, I can now read the thoughts of others and make them raving mad with a mere suggestion. Face me, and you shall surely perish.
So yeah, which one you pick there will determine who your main enemy is for the entire game. You haven't picked up a Gamecube game in 10 years, jeez, man. You're missing out. There's a lot of great stuff on Gamecube. Strangely, with the Tome of Eternal Darkness in her possession, Alex can read the page. It is a chapter page from the tome itself. Should Alex take the chapter page? Yeah. The Binding of the Corpse God. That's awesome.
I cannot say what was the true beginning, nor am I sure of its end. So perhaps here is the best place to start. I am reminded of ideas I first encountered in Sir James George Fraser's book, The Golden Bough, a study in magic and religion. We are overwhelmed by a very human need to weave a web of meaning where there may be none. Since time immemorial, ancient peoples have dressed up their lack of knowledge as gods and demons. I have discovered that sometimes the fates of gods and mortals intertwine, and legends are born.
1150 AD.
Thy time is done, great ancient.
Pay no attention to that obvious JPEG in the background.
Chaos, and to fade to nothing in obscurity will be thy fate. My master has planned many millennia for this day. It is the true chaos of all things that you now must be entombed amongst the beings of flesh and bone.
You have a great monument here, Mantra. It is a pity that no one will ever recognize it as yours. May the darkness claim thee, roaring chaos and damned beast. No longer will thy reign be kept over the ancients you have kept imprisoned. Thou hast seen the last of this world.
And so immediately we see Pius as essentially now a monster. 1,000 years or so after he should have died. At this point, Pius is essentially a lich.
Not even these mythical fables can keep me amused. There has to be something to do around here. I only wish something that fantastic and of higher purpose could happen to me.
I definitely agree with the whole GameCube exclusivity. It certainly did hurt a lot of Capcom's ideas, and it's weird that they kept Remake and Zero exclusive to the GameCube for so long. Especially when, like, the Capcom 5, most of them were ported to the PS2. Statue of a goddess, delicately sculpted from sandstone, it casts an alert eye over everyone who enters the temple. There is a strange necklace about its neck. Should Elia take the necklace from the statue? The necklace can be used to heal, making sure Elia does not move when it's cast. But yeah, it's weird that it was kept GameCube exclusive along with Zero. Because like 4 was put on PS2, Killer 7 was put on PS2, Beautiful Joe was put on PS2. Sun sinking below the edge of the world. Alright. Okay. Good work, Elia. And I'll definitely agree with you. It's always been weird to me that remake came out 6 years after the original. Here we go. When located by creatures, a sanity loss occurs, causing a decrease in the level of sanity meter and the character to pulse green. Beware, sanity loss affects perception and eventually health. Thanks. So, essentially, this is one of the biggest gimmicks of the game, the sanity meter. And as our sanity gets lower, different things will happen. Enemies spotting us will lower our sanity. Enemies... finishing enemies will restore it. Twin Snakes, Twin Snakes remake was, again, I think a result of, as I mentioned earlier, the push Kojima wanted for Snake to be in Smash. Damn it. And Nintendo were like, yeah, okay, well, we'd like Metal Gear Solid on the Gamecube. And Kojima's like, yeah, sure, but my team's busy. Kojima Productions is busy doing stuff. So we don't really want to commit to making a game for the GameCube. So why don't you have a third party do it? And they did. It was Silicon Knights. And they were like, you know, rather than going to all the trouble of making an entirely new game, why don't you just remake Metal Gear Solid? So they did. And that's basically how Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes happened. So you put the bronze necklace in its place. And Twin Snakes and Remake are both solid games. Twin Snakes definitely has its points over the original. So we've actually got the original Metal Gear Solid coming up for the channel soon. What's this? Rising over the edge of the earth. Okay. And I'm thinking, like, once that's done, I might just do Twin Snakes for the stream as like a follow-up, because I've been thinking with stuff like Ocarina of Time is going to be done for channel soon. Not recorded it yet, I've not started recording it yet, but I'm going to get around to it soon, and I'm thinking once it's done, I might just do Master Quest for the stream. So, you know, that kind of thing, like different versions of games for the stream as like a counterpoint to the original versions. That took a lot longer than I would have liked. Okay. But yeah, no, I totally, totally agree. It is weird that they were remade so soon after the original. But there's also the whole call of, like, the PS2 Xbox Gamecube generation was such a massive leap over the previous generation, both graphically and in terms of controls. Blowgun. Yeah, sure. I know. Oh no, my sword broke.
Secret passage in the temple.
Well, Ocarina of Time is I'm never going to do a true 100% playthrough of Ocarina because I am never going to get all the gold sculptures. So the short sword's broken, so I have to use the blowgun now, and I just de-equipped it. So I want to save this guy. And the biggest issue here is that the blowgun is honestly just awful. Give me some of that sanity back, please. But yeah, Ocarina, I'm undecided yet on whether I'll get all the heart pieces or not, but I am never gonna get all the sculptures. The guard is grateful for Elias saving his life. In return, he offers to repair Elias' broken weapon as a gesture of thanks. Yes, I do want to repair the short sword. Thank you. Let's immediately ditch the blowgun. Okay. Uh-oh. 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 Take him down. Finish him. Yeah, no, Ocarina will possibly be a complete heart run. But no, the gold sculptures are never worth it, and the trouble it takes, the trouble you have to go through for them. Uh-oh. That was straight to the face. Yikes. And let's use it again. Awesome. What did I get hit by? Oh, that was nasty. Uh-oh. Oh, they're fighting each other because they're different alignments. I'll just quietly finish you guys for some easy sanity. Okay. Pay no attention to that honestly awful looking fire there. Eternal Darkness started life as a Nintendo 64 game, and it shows in a lot of places, really does. It looks like when it was decided that it would be put on Gamecube, they only partially like upscaled a lot of the stuff. It's like if you look at Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 0 is like a brilliant counterpoint. We know 0 was going to be on the 64. Capcom even released footage of it in the lead up to 0 HD, which was really cool to compare it with. And yet the final release of 0 on Gamecube looks excellent, really does. You could not see any of the traces of it originally being a 64 game. This, you totally can.
Stop. Don't go near it.
So, you are reduced to feeding on flesh and bone, Mantralock. How the mighty have fallen. You will show
Mantar Rock.
for millennia to come. A slow and torturous fate for thee. You had best leave, young fool, or you will find yourself as food for the dead god.
Dead God doesn't sound as cool as Corpse God.
You are one of the chosen many. Flesh and blood. It is now your destiny to fight the eternal darkness. I give you a gift in return for an obligation. The gift is your life, sweet dancer. The obligation is this. You hold one of Mantarok's hearts, the essence of the corpse god. To some it is a source of great power. From those people, you must defend it, lest they use it to destroy what little brightness your world has left in it. Guard it well.
Okay. Set the staff. Look at this. Pulsating, festering. Statue of a human female bears witness to the monstrosity that fills the room. The porous stone of its body is covered with the effluvial grime that Mantarok has secreted over the years. And supposedly, a big part of the reason this game actually came out as well as it did was Nintendo published it and had like tight reins on Silicon Knights. Door of formidable size seals the vault of stylized design, resembling the creature that dwells within the room is carved into the stone. Yeah, like, apparently Nintendo was like very hands-on in making sure Silicon Knights were actually doing the work they were being paid for, which came back as kind of a problem in X-Men Destiny when it turned out Silicon Knights generally weren't doing the work they were being paid for. We'll do X-Men Destiny at some point. Also, characters have an invisible stamina meter. So these are Xel'lotath enemies, actually. These are green as opposed to the blue and red that we've seen so far. And as we'll come to discover, each colour has an affinity. Red is health, blue is magic, green is sanity. So the red enemies are stronger and deal more damage. The blue enemies do good with magic. And you need to watch out for the magical attacks. The green are sanity based and will drain your sanity, usually continuously. Damn it. Yeah, that's right. I was gonna be like, seriously, he got through that? Get the sanity back at least. Not doing too well with sanity though. Make a way around these traps. Try and avoid as many of them as I can. This one's unavoidable. Alright. Uh-oh. So these guys at least looks like they go down immediately if you take off the head. So that's good. You need to be quick in finishing them because they will disappear if you don't. I think we got most of it back at least, or if not all of it. Awesome. Now let's head all the way back there. Damn it. Didn't activate the blow darts at least. No way around activating this though. No. Oh, made it through. Yeah, Zero on 64 was shaping up to be an impressive game for the system, based on everything we've seen of it. Chances are we'll never see a ROM dump of the beta. So I know the only reason we've seen any like any leaks of Resident Evil 2, as it originally was, referred to as 1.5 now, is because somebody at Capcom took the disc home. And I think they lent it to a friend or something. The friend copied it, and then it just went all over the place.
Instead, you will die. Where is the essence of Mantarok? Where is it?
It's entirely possible that the remake itself, because Zero was in development before the remake, but came out after the remake. It's entirely possible that the remake itself was done entirely to for Capcom to get comfortable with the system before developing remake, before developing Zero. Because it's not an uncommon thing. Yeah, I know pictures definitely exist of the whole thing. I know they existed in magazines. There we go. but I'm not sure if those pictures were taken by people from the magazine. It's possible. Or if they were taken by Capcom developers and sent out to magazines. It's one of the two. I forget which. There was a big article I read not that long ago about just the entire 1.5 saga.
Presence is welcome, Majesty. As always, I am honored.
Our dealings are a pleasure to us both, then. As do we all. What is this flaw you wish to discuss with us?
My concern is with the other ancients. Xel'lotath, Chattur'gha. Should they unite with Mantarok, they would doubtlessly possess enough power to vanquish even thee.
As darkness abhors light, and light abhors dark, the others will not, cannot join forces. Mantarok will be bound, and the others will sink into insanity when I return. As has been foretold.
I was unaware.
There is much you do not know. And much you never will. Be certain to retrieve Mantarok's essence. It is necessary to cement our place in your world.
Then what of Charlemagne the Frank? What do you intend for him?
The Frank is an instrument of light. He seeks to unite Europe under his banner.
With this in place, my guardians will be hard-pressed to perform the functions you require.
For your own schemes, Pius. Think of your future.
Then Charlemagne will be removed from the picture.
Make sure he is dead.
Yeah, I know certainly that whoever, because like I said, there was the big article about it that I read not long ago.
Of course. He is a...
I know the person who was responsible for it. Because like I said, I think like they took the disc home and then lent it to a friend or something.
From my research, it is apparent that the
You know, thinking about it, it might have actually been a magazine editor or someone who worked for a game magazine at the time. I'd have to find the article again. But that person who took it home and then lent it to a friend, and then the friend copied it and posted stuff. The person who took it home was basically fired and blacklisted.
Hanc mit ad dominum et imperatorum nostrum, Carolum magnum Francum.
Hey, Michael Bell.
To our Lord and Emperor Charlemagne the Frank. No one but him must see it. They are words for his eyes only. At once.
And I said about this game having a bunch of Metal Gear Solid actors. Michael Bell, I don't think, had done a Metal Gear Solid voice at this time, but would later go on to voice the Fear in Metal Gear Solid 3.
I am bewitched. If this was Charlemagne, then what will become of him? I have to warn him of this treachery.
And I'm pretty sure that's... Oh, geez, run into that JPEG. And I'm pretty sure that Anthony the Page, who we're playing as now, was voiced by Cam Clark, who, of course, played Liquid. Hey, how you doing? Last seen in audience with the bishop in his visiting chamber. Alright. Need the bishop's key. Okay. So this entire chapter is basically trying to find the bishop's key. Anthony's presence is questioned by the monks, feeling he has trespassed upon the sacred ground. The monk seems rather subdued, perhaps out of respect, or perhaps out of fear. What about you, monk? Visibly disturbed with grief and despair, the monk sobs pitifully. He recounts this is not the only death to have occurred recently, and wonders if perhaps the Order is being punished for a wavering in faith. What about you? The monk cordially greets Anthony, however he brings grave news of the loss of one of his Order who fell from the tower to his death. His tone is guarded, leaving Anthony to wonder if indeed this is the truth. A funeral casket made from unfinished wood. It is not properly sealed and can be opened. Should we open the casket? Yeah.
Oh my God, what is it?
This devil's work. We should get out of here.
You have proven what we have feared the most. This poor man has been the victim of great evil. Look how his body has been defiled, as if something has burst out from inside him. Here, take this for your protection. And find
Ooh, sword.
He must be informed of this horrible discovery.
Scramasax. Yeah, the early concepts that RE4 went through really interesting to consider, and it would be interesting to see Capcom return to something like that. Peering inside the casket, Anthony sees the body of a monk. His raiment is that of his Order, stained with blood that has seeped from many grievous wounds. It is truly a disturbing sight. Yeah, it was interesting concepts in a bunch of the 4 betas. Oh, this is interesting. Pius Augustus. Pius is spelt wrong there. The statue is destroyed. Elia. And there are other places. And if you pay attention, the floor is made of screaming faces. Cradled in what appears to be a leathery hand lies a mysterious book. It is bound in human skin and intricately decorated with shrunken bones. It beckons and yearns to be possessed. Should Anthony claim the Tome of Eternal Darkness? And this is generally something that continues as we go through this chapter. We were cursed by the scroll that we read that we're supposed to deliver to Charlemagne. Magical Rune. The magic system in this game is actually really neat. We can't do anything with it yet, though. We need more than that. But yeah, I mean... Oh, the spell circle. Like, the various different concepts 4 went through before finally becoming 4. It's really interesting. And the one we know most about is the one that became Devil May Cry, of course. What do we got? What do we got? Amongst the tomes and manuscripts, a book brings attention to itself. Oddly pristine on a dusty shelf, it doesn't quite belong. Secret passage. God, I wish I had a portable Gamecube. Every now and then, something about a portable Gamecube will come up. Like somebody's built one in a really interesting way. And it's really cool. And every time I see it, I'm always like, I wish I knew how to build one of those. Wish I had the skill to do it. Because some really cool stuff. And the ones I've been seeing recently, basically cut down from Wii boards and placed into a portable casing with controller, screen, battery, and stuff like that. Okay, so now we should actually have enough. No, we don't. Alright, fair enough. We don't have enough for a spell yet. It's really cool because it's basically a Wii in a handheld case. You get all the options you get with the Wii, like full GameCube support, Wii support, which is really neat. You always like the NES toaster. Like, you get GameCube support, you get Wii support for games that support the classic controller or the GameCube controller. And like the coolest idea with that is like you've then got two versions of RE4 to play. I mean, RE4 came out on Switch recently. Like the first time it's been officially available in a portable fashion. But it has issues, you know, various issues with performance and resolution and that. Grateful for his life, the monk tells Anthony what happened. He was carrying an urn from the baptismal font when he was confronted by the bishop, who was brandishing a large blade and whose eyes burned with an evil fire. Frightened, the monk dropped the urn out of shock and ran. Returning to retrieve the urn, he found only the sword the bishop had left behind. With thanks, he gives the bishop's sword to Anthony. But yeah, like the with a portable Wii like that, you have the option of the GameCube version of RE4, which is great, or the Wii version, which is probably the best. Runes cannot be understood without a codex. Without a codex, runes in your possession will remain a mystery. It's like the Wii version of RE4 is probably, in a bunch of ways, still the best version. Because it has all the effects of the GameCube version, all the graphical fidelity, and it has the extras of the PS2 version. And from what I'm aware, let's create a new spell. So now we cast that and enchant this. And we repair the item. So we have a repair item spell. Or enchant item, is both, really. Oh, the curse is affecting us worse. But yeah, I've heard like there's a bunch of effects and stuff that are not in any of the later versions, that are only in the GameCube and Wii versions of RE4, which is really weird. So in a bunch of ways, the Wii version is still considered like the best version. A filled red urn, huh? Disturbing rendition of a monstrous devil. It is contorted into what appears to be a fountain. What sickly liquid is this draining into the pool, trickling from a scum-encrusted spout? Aged tapestry hangs on the wall. It is soiled from the dank atmosphere of the room and the corruption about it. Gotta burn it. We can't just move it. Dunking the urn into the foul-smelling fountain, it becomes filled to the brim with rank fluid. It is a lot heavier now and rife with photo. Okay, so what am I doing with that, I wonder? But yeah, I mean, like, the portable GameCube idea was really appealing to me. And then a lot of the newer ones that people were making were portable Wiis. And at that point, you have GameCube, full GameCube support for Wii games that support the GameCube controller or the classic controller, depending on how you've set it up, and Virtual Console support for what was the best Virtual Console. And so at that point, you've got the portable system that can natively run GameCube, Wii, and like all the best Virtual Console stuff, and WiiWare. So like you could have Castlevania: The Adventure Rebirth, which still hasn't been released outside of WiiWare. It's like, why? Why is that? Because that was really cool. And stuff like you've got portable Secret of Mana there, Final Fantasy 3. Let's take a look at this. Enchant item scroll. And essentially what this is just the spell we've actually created already. That which is broken shall be fixed, that which is dull is sharp. Thus is the nature of the enchant item magic. It's cool. Thank you. I just think the idea is really cool, and there's so much more you can do with the Wii over the GameCube. And like just the open availability of the Virtual Console is awesome.
You have come to return my book. Very well then. For your efforts, I promise a quick and merciful death.
I'm guessing this is the bishop. And he's constantly draining our sanity. So we need this to end fast. Yeah. Get off me. The bishop's key, yay. Let me finish him. He took a lot of sanity. He gave back a lot as well, okay. Shrine to a god that speaks of an ancient evil that graced the earth before mankind walked its valleys. Nice. And I am going to save it. Awesome. Oh no, the curse worsens. Let me switch to my smaller sword. This is clearly causing a problem. Hmm. Oh, come on. Yeah, well, I understand your love of the NES Toaster. It's a really cool console mod. Just moving consoles into essentially different cases like that isn't overly interesting to me. The idea of portabilizing a system is really cool. On two levels, one playing it, and two, get out of here, get out of here. Sneak past them, don't be any trouble. Oh, there's more of them. Perspex, NES. What's Perspex? While I'm waiting for you to answer that, yeah, just the whole idea of the portabilizing is really cool. It's like the idea with the Superboy. Just being able to play a console portable is really cool to me. It's why, despite knowing the problems with the Sega Nomad, I still think the Sega Nomad is a really cool thing. Especially at the time. I mean, imagine having a Sega Nomad at the time. That would have been cool. Oh, transparent plastic. I've never been overly fond of that design. I know a lot of people love it, especially for stuff like Game Boy and stuff. The transparent Game Boy colours. But I never really got into it. Okay, so I think I took out all of its faces. And here's the thing with Anthony, the curse means that he cannot actually die. Still one head alive. There we go. So I want some of that sanity back. Yeah, it's a novelty, but like even at the time I was never really into it. I don't like the way a lot of the Game Boy Color cartridges look as well, because like the Game Boy Color was I think like damn near every game on Game Boy Color was transparent as well for some reason. I could understand why you'd like it. It's just not something I ever really did like. Come on. Okay, use the key. Open the door. No, Charlemagne. Also, listen to Colonel Campbell here.
You are a fool for trying to save him, Anthony. His fate was decided many centuries ago, as is the fate of this world. Despite your faith, there is little to save you from the power of Xel'lotath.
Yikes. You say Game Boy cartridge, you mean the original Game Boy or Game Boy Color? Because, I'll be honest, I'm not overly fond of either, from like a design point. Not really sure why. I don't like the transparent effect. Oh, I know what we need to do now. I don't like the, how much? My Sanity's alright. I don't like Game Boy Color. Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't like the transparent design on Game Boy Color. And a lot of the Game Boy cartridges just look kind of cheap. Also, no idea why Link's Awakening DX was black. It was just a random black cartridge. It's weird. Right, so basically, after every chapter, you will learn something in that chapter that will allow you to explore further in the house to find the next page. What we found in the last chapter was the... Yes, there it is. Where's the magic? Oh, there it is. I've just been going past it. What we found in the last chapter was the enchant item spell. So we enchant this and check this. It's not good enough. It needs to be enchanted differently. What it needs to do is the dresser key, I think. Second floor key, that's it. Door's locked. Use the second floor key. It's broken. So now we repair it. Now we can use it. And then we can explore the second floor. Also, pay no attention to this statue that will constantly follow us as we walk down, and is never actually mentioned properly. So we got the dresser key. Let's use the dresser key. Oh yeah, no, that's for later. I remember that. Page from the Journal of Maximilian Roivas. Everything that brightened my life now engulfed me in darkness. I fed on the light of truth, yet starved in the shadows of lies. I have learned through my lifetime, but no less than a newborn baby. Now, if that got you, don't be ashamed, because that gets everybody. Right, so there's something on the second floor we need. Revolver ammo. A chapter page has been hastily stashed behind the frame of the painting. Yeah, okay. The Gift of Forever. What we're going to do is we're going to start reading it, and I think we're going to call the session here, actually.
Psychology offers only unproven theories. Some see them as the meaningless tossing and turning of a brain settling into a restful sleep. Others see them as laden with symbols of our unconscious desires. To still others, dreams represent the upwelling of the archetypes, normally hidden deep within the recesses of the human collective unconscious. Of one thing I am certain. After a brush with the ancients, our dreams metamorphosize into nightmares.
Persia. Not ancient Persia, but Persia.
I have implored you for years, yet you ignore all my advances. You dominate my dreams.
This is actually one of the other roles Reno Mano has.
I fear I desire you many 100 times more.
The guy who voiced Luis Serra in RE4 Spider-Man in the PS1 Spider-Man games.
For weeks, I have dreamed of an ancient treasure, so precious that it changes all life around it. It must be mine, Kareem. If you truly desire me, as you say, then you will find this for me.
The way her head was positioned there in conjunction with her body, I want to see that from the side and see just what her neck was doing.
I need nothing more than you. You have enthralled me to the point that I can think of nothing else. Promise, if I leave, you will not forget about me.
You need not worry. I desire nothing more than the treasure that you seek. Leave now, Kareem, and I shall await you.
This looks familiar. And this looks familiar, but it's actually not. Same design, different area. What have I got? Oh, chakrams. Favoured throwing weapon through Central Asia in medieval times. A balanced ring of metal, sometimes beautifully decorated, it would be hurled at an attacker. Heavy chakrams could sever limbs or heads. However, they were not designed to return to the thrower. So yeah, I think we're going to call it there for oh, I can't save. The darkness is coming. So let's finish this. Get to a point where I can save. I don't think you can actually save in a room with enemies. A man's corpse lies fallen. Wounds cover the exposed flesh of his body where his armour has failed. Elia, pious with his broken statue. Anthony. And yet again, the Tome of Eternal Darkness. The darkness comes. So these are like the weakest of the enemies. I don't think they're actually attributed with any of the three evil alignments. Because there's three. There is Xel'lotath, who is our main enemy for this playthrough. Ulioth, who is blue. And Chattur'gha, who is red. Alright, is that good now? Can I save? Yes, I can. Awesome. We're going to call it a session here then. I wasn't actually intending to start this time. I was going to start this next stream. But, you know, weren't really getting anywhere with a casual stream tonight. I was kind of disheartened with the 64 sound issues. But anyway, I'm going to call it for tonight. We'll be back on Thursday, 10 PM Greenwich Mean Time. We'll be continuing Eternal Darkness at this point, I guess. Special thanks to Bane and Distasa in the chat for keeping me company. I always appreciate that. If you want to get more updates on the stream, what we're going to be doing when it's going live, follow me on Twitter. My tag is Green Chrono. You can follow me on Twitter. And yeah, that's basically it for now. We're back 10 PM Greenwich Mean Time on Thursday, GMT. Come back and join us. Check out more Eternal Darkness. But for now, that is it. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night and take care.